Hello everyone, welcome to Module 3 discussion. My traditional exercise is going to be the hang power snatch. Okay, so the hang power snatch from position B in our facility, this position right here is known as position B. You can tell any athlete in our facility, okay, we're going to do hang power from B or hang cleans from B, they'll jump right in this position. I won't read the entire thing for body position for you, but of note, the hook grip, of course. I think a lot of people overthink the foot width here, or the stance. We have our athletes, if you're going to jump as high as you can, like to dunk a basketball, where would I put my feet? It's a great place to start. You externally rotate 5 to 10 degrees maybe, and then you're ready to rock. Even feet means from big toe to little toe to heel. We like to see weight distribution fairly even across that. Elbow straight, not locked, distinction to make for another day. Common cues you see here to the right, arms go last and fast. Most athletes want to pull first, okay, but we cue them to push the floor away. So have them push the floor away instead of thinking pull, and I think you'll get a little bit better movement. A bar close is a common one you'll hear. Faster as you go, meaning when I pull that weight from the floor, it should be fast. When I pull it at my second pull, somewhere around my pockets, right, it should be faster, but the fastest thing I should see is the athlete under the bar. So you hear me say faster as you go, meaning, good in control, quick, quicker, quickest. This is just a quick snapshot of the images. Again, there's a starting position kind of there in position 1. You'll see the extension. I caught him a little rough in the camera. He'd already straightened his knees and now on his way really to the third pull. And then the catch position is what we see there, number 3. And then here's what it looks like in real time.
Nice. Okay.
Not too bad. Okay. Now for regression from that position, this is where we start all our athletes. So this is a hang power snatch from position A in our facility. So this is a regression of what you saw. Body position's real similar. Bar at the crease of the hip. Again, a lot of people overcoach this. To me, it's not that complicated. We'll have the athlete bend or flex their thigh, if you will, and where that bar hits the crease. So we don't want it touching the thigh. Conversely, we don't want it up by the belly button at all. We want it right in the flexion crease of the hip joint. So that's where we start, and there's other ways to measure, as our textbook pointed out, but we start here and have a lot of success with that. Glenohumeral joint, you'll see him should be over the bar a little more. He's here probably a little more posterior than I'd like to see. I'd like to see a little bit more flexion of the trunk here to get him in front of that bar. We want to stay over the bar as long as we can, okay? And again, elbow straight, not locked. You'll see he's hard locked here. He's trying to look good for you guys, but in a perfect world, we want those straight but not hard locked for reasons we'll discuss later. Again, push the floor away as a cue, bar close, arms go last and fast. I want to push the floor away. And then when I do go with my arms in full extension, elbows rather, we want that to see. Faster as you go is a cue we already talked about. Hard as you can, fast as you can. If you look at intrinsic cueing versus extrinsic cueing, we find that, if I tell the athlete hard as you can, fast as you can, they've done some studies on that. Also, I remember if you tell the athlete what to do with the bar, it's a little more successful than if you tell the athlete what to do with their body. So you'll hear me in my facility typically train or talk to the athletes about what to do with the bar. Make the bar go straight. Make the bar come back to you. And athletes being athletes, they're going to react to that a lot better than if I say, this and this, or, back up or whatever, but we still do it. And this is just a quick snapshot of the same thing. Start position to the left, real similar position. You'll notice body position wise, and here's his catch position. So this is the hang power snatch from position A. And here's our regression, kind of in real time. So let's watch that again. Okay. Okay, so this is basically our starting position for the power snatch. This is our progression of the hang power snatch from B. So in our facility, once you learn hang power from A, which we showed, and hang power from B, then we'll go from the floor into that power snatch, okay? And so real similar body position, real similar cueing as you see here. And from a picture standpoint, this is roughly what the power snatch looks like. Just keep in mind, people get this confused a lot. Power just denotes my receiving position, okay? The hang AB denotes my takeoff position. So we could say block power snatch, okay? That just means we're going to be on blocks, 6-inch blocks from power snatch. And people learn this terminology in and among Olympic weightlifting circles. And here it is from a couple different views here.
Good.
Okay, so that's power snatch from the floor.
Good.
Okay, from the view. Yeah. He's cold and he doesn't have his shoes on. You can tell it throws off his balance a little bit. Yeah. Now our disclaimer slide. This is not the next progression, but I do want to show you the full snatch movement because it's my favorite one, the one I'm probably most interested in, and the one I love to coach. But so I did want to show it to you really quickly. But understand that it is not the next progression from the power snatch. Okay, but I do want to show you the full lift. Sometimes in teaching the kids, it's nice to show them the full lift, and you're learning it as we go, chopping it up in little bitty pieces. Here it is, the full snatch from about 45-degree angle. And then here it is straight on. This is right at body weight. So I did this on purpose to put them under a little bit of stress so you can see what it looks like, a little closer to a real lift. So there's things I could talk an hour about how technically incorrect some of that was, but for all practical purposes, he snatches about 93 for a 73 kilo lifter. It's not too bad. I just sort of threw this slide in for fun. This is a slow-mo of about 60 kilos here, but it's kind of neat to watch. I just love the Olympic snatch. So you see how he hits those positions as he goes up. He's going to hit that power B, right? And that power A. Bar's pretty close. It's not bad. He's still got a lot of work to do in his bottom position, his receiving position. He's about 6 inches from being able to do a complete full snatch, actually, and he's been training for 2 years. So, but watch how he comes up off the ground. The bar comes a little close to him, scoops really well, good knee bend. He's a little irregular with his foot placement. It's something we've been working on, but that's the full movement. I just threw it in for fun, guys. I mean, I love this stuff, so I can make this video 2 hours long. This is something that I always like to discuss whenever I teach, is that you'll see everybody freaks out about bar path, body position, intrinsic, extrinsic cues, and everybody freaks out. But at the end of the day, these are the best 4 bar paths. This is most recent research, 2020. We got this from our library. So if you've not used the Interloan library, it's awesome. I got this published ahead of print and then was able to go back. So the bottom line is, here's the shoe. This is the anterior direction to the left of your screen, and you can see the shoe down there, give you some orientation. But the most popular bar path does come back to you off the floor, so we prefer that. But understand, the big thing is that where the bar starts, okay, and where the bar ends, the bar always ends past that line. Okay, so no one that's good in the world ends with that bar in front of them. I'm not aware of any in the top. This was a 319 attempts at Pan Am's. You can see it down there. And I can share the PDF if anybody's interested. Here's our common errors. Again, I'm not going to read this to you. You can see it. But basically, the big thing is pulling with the arms before pushing with the feet. Swinging the arms out, creating too much space between the bar. We talk about keeping that bar closed. Not using the hip grip. Improper width stance. Incorrect stance width, and we talk about the weight evenly distributed on the floor, from big toe to little toe to heel. Think of that as a tripod. We want that weight to be equal and spread throughout. Big thing is 2 programming errors. I did my citation there. It's just reps equal injury, you know, and people do goofy things with Olympic lifts for some reason, and I don't know why. They'll run a mile and then do, you know, 20 snatches in a row and then run another mile. It's, you know, people get hurt that way. There's not really the design of those. There's nothing wrong with using it for GPP if you want to, but once form failure breaks down, it's something that really ought to stop, in just my opinion. You know, just, and here's a study that kind of backs that up. And for my non-traditional movement, I chose back squatting with chains. We'll go through a quick progression and regression. So I'll just let you watch this here. We can talk about spotting.
Just 3 good ones.
Let's go now. Just 3 good ones.
Each of those chains weigh about 13
Good
kilos.
under. Come on. Elbows.
Yep.
Fast kick. Good job. 2 more. Let's go.
Good job. Now he'll do a real explosive 3-rep set there. See he's flexing his lumbar just a little bit.
Last one, fast you can. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Just 3 to 5 degrees, but Stu McGill will tell you that once you see that, that's probably about the end, right? So we won't push him much faster or farther than that, okay? So that's an example of what that looks like. More of a cultural differentiation, and not to sound, I don't know, self-serving or arrogant in any way, but I've been to a couple Olympic Games. I was backstage 2016 for Rio in weightlifting and watched Sarah Robles get her medal. I've been to, I don't know how many Olympic Training Center sessions and Olympic trials, world championships, again, Olympics in the back, but no one spots the squat in Olympic weightlifting. It's just not done. It's so interesting. You see the NSCA. I had my CSCS about 15 years ago, let it expire. It just, I don't know, I just didn't really use it, didn't do much with it. And so I got more in the Olympic weightlifting. It's so interesting how things are taught differently. We do not teach at all to spot the squat. We don't squat in cages. Our athletes are taught to be around 6 feet. We want to be able to fall 360 degrees, bail from that bar. We keep a very vertical chest as a general rule in our facility. And if we can't squat upright correctly, then we deadlift and fix the squat, so to speak. So I do want to clarify that. I wasn't going to mention it, but then somebody always like, they're not spotting, you're not spotting. You know, we don't spot the squat in our facility. It's just, and no one else does either in the Olympic weightlifting world. It's just kind of an interesting thing you see in powerlifting. I could post videos in this discussion all day long about it. So you'll see like 9 guys in a cage, right? Raw, and these little partial heavy loaded movements, which is fine. I was a competitive powerlifter, I get it, but that's not how we teach it for Olympic sports. So this back squatting, I should put a little subcategory there, okay? It is for quote unquote high bar Olympic back squatting with chains is probably what it ought to say, okay? But this is the same video, just a different angle so you can see it. Sorry for the superfluous information. I should have edited it for time. I apologize. Now you see his knee going a little bit of valgus there. So we would try to correct that. But again, you'll see that on stages all across the world. You'll see it at the Olympic Games. Everybody, you know, when they're max effort or close to as fast as they can, they have a tendency to get a little bit of valgus. So, okay. So piggybacking on something that instructor Pruitt had said about messing up chains, it just drives him crazy, and I completely agree. It's not that complicated to use chains correctly. People get the math on it wrong. We just weigh our chains and we know how much they weigh, and then so we just try to use them correctly and make sure you secure them. If you go back and watch that video, you'll see we have collars and clips and loops and whatnot, so it's not that complicated. And again, here's our improper use of the chains, incorrect weight of the chains. Crashing at the bottom. If you go back to that video on that second rep, he crashes to the bottom a little too quick for my taste. I want that a little bit more controlled, that eccentric, and he bounces out of the hole. I don't really allow that. It's a little bit in front squatting. We do it all the time back squatting. I like that to be a little more controlled. Not exploding through the entire movement, not improper depth, bad trunk angle, and we talked about the weight distribution and programming, of course. And this is our regression, the good old-fashioned back squat. So before we're going to do the chains, if we're having trouble with chains, we're going to go back and make sure we have a good foundation for a back squat. So this would be our regression. Notice the vertical posture there. Yeah. So he can safely bail with that weight at any time. Just bail it off the back of him, get out of the way. Okay. And another regression is really the goblet squat. You know, we can goblet squat with up to 100 kilos or something like that in our facility if we need to. Okay. Apologize for switching pictures on you, but this is obviously not a squat; it's a bench press. But I think about, well, how can we progress if we're already with chains? Well, you can go chains and bands. You can combine those things. You can also be done with load and programming. So I can do heavier percentages, I can do more volume, and basically like here he's working the sticking point. If you'll notice that all those chains are really made to come up that last 5 to 10 degrees, 15 degrees of that movement. So from my estimation of that photo, he's really trying to help his lockout position. So he's got those chains just pegged down there to help him in that sticking point, which would be a progression of chain squatting or benching. And here are my references. And I think that's it. Thank you very much.